right, once again, we got the infamous Nicole. What's going on, Nicole?
Hi.
It's just funny that it's out, like, you could walk by and see it. The sounds. So one thing that's really interesting, when we got to Goldfield, we had no idea there's no gas stations. So we, at the time, Nicole actually barely had enough to even make it back, and we didn't even know if she would even make it back to the nearest gas station. The other option would to be continue driving north to Tonopah, which she didn't want to do.
Was Jewel, and the reason we know that is because they used to paint their names above the windows, and the paint is gone. But if you can show it here, let me see if I can see it with that flashlight. 1 second.
Oh, you know, I kind of
Can you kind of see it?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
J-E-W-E-L, and that's where the red light went.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? And you repurposed it, right?
Pardon?
You found this is all sourced from Goldfield.
Yeah, this is,
You
well, this,
reconstructed it.
right. This was moved here from
Yeah.
the red light district.
Yeah.
We reconstructed the inside.
Oh,
Let me
so
get
See,
this.
that's why the timber's the way it is. It's
Yeah,
also
we'll get the
kept
light
it
up.
rustic.
Here we go.
Wow.
Okay.
Where would the red light district would have been?
It's 2 blocks over that way and then 2 blocks that way.
Interesting.
It's where Edie and
Yeah.
Richard.
Oh, that's where that one is. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty cool that way.
Yeah.
Isn't it
Oh
cool?
wow.
If you come and stay here with your missus or something, like, you might get.
nobody tell my wife. Nobody tell my wife. Yes, my wife, I'm dead serious. Nobody tell my wife.
Oh, I just won't tell her. I just won't tell her.
Stay in this one.
And I'll just tell you, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Because this is really cute. She
A lot
would
of
like
people I don't
this.
tell that story
And
to.
the smell is just.
Yeah. So this doesn't have a bathroom though because we didn't want to ruin the integrity of the building. So
So if you do a paranormal investigation at Goldfield High School, this is one of the places you could stay at. The people who actually take care of the Goldfield High School and are doing the restoration also have these little bungalows and these little places you can stay at. So as an option. Oh, and that's what the town looks like.
Yeah, if you want to get a.
Tune in and break away. Forget our fear of what comes after. We'll hold on for better days. Let a
This town is so big.
in the shadows. Days like these, we can see.
Yeah, I was reading that this was like basically the Vegas of that time.
20,000 people who lived here,
Wow.
at least. And now we have about 270 in the summer and about half that in winter.
That's amazing.
Well, we're at the Goldfield High School. Closed in 1948, the last graduating class. When they left, they just left. They didn't. There's no security. They closed the doors and pretty much a lot of stuff disappeared, desks and fixtures and that kind of stuff. We have some of it left, but the biggest issue with the with the high school now is that it's in its original condition. We have a lot of repair issues, a lot of water issues. Got some structural issues that are fixed. It didn't have any windows before. It's got windows now, so it's a work in progress. We're probably $600,000 into a repair. We're probably another $200,000 short of getting the roof fixed. You see, when you get up there, we have to re-engineer the entire attic, and it's a mess. Meanwhile, it's a gorgeous building. It's a beautiful building. You can go in, you can spend the night, which makes it unique all by itself. So let's go on in.
Yeah.
So this would be the lower level of 3. This would be where the younger kids would come in. There was at the busiest point there was 450 students in here. So it's pretty busy. Probably first, second, third, fourth grades would go to school on this lower level. Come on into this classroom.
Come on, brother T-Rex.
Whoa.
So this is pretty much all the stuff we have left. It didn't get stolen. All this is original, not necessarily original to this room, but it's original to the building. And it's all real. The patina, the engravings, the hearts, all that is real, which is cool. It's too bad we don't have 16 rooms of furniture, but at least we have one. That's a good thing. A couple things to note in here: we have a slate stone chalkboard. That's pretty unusual. Most of them in the building are not. They're painted wood. There is a coal stove over here. When the town got smaller, they shut down the furnace in the high school, and they only used a few rooms. The rooms that they used had a coal stove in them, so that's an indication of one of the rooms they used to the very end. At the very end of the use in the 40s, there would be maybe 5, 6, 7 people per grade. So they'd use 3 classrooms and shut off the rest of the building. As far as I know, I met 3 people who actually went to school here. That was a couple of years ago. Couldn't get them to come in the building and tell me some stories, even in the middle of the day. There were 3 women I met that were in a car. I asked them if they would come in and talk to me, and they said that being in the car on the road is as close as they're ever going to get to this building. Wow. When they were in school here, they would go home, go to the bathroom before, and rather than go into the bathroom in the basement here in the high school. So I guess it's been creepy for a long time. Now that it's closed, some people really like creepy, but anyway, that's where we are here.
That's what brings us here.
Yeah, some people enjoy creepy.
Yeah.
This is a room where a lot of times we have the investigators set up. It's got a lot of space. It's on it's easy to get to. There's another room upstairs that you can set up in if you have a bunch of gear. We don't know what this room was. It was not a classroom. There are no chalkboards in here. I think maybe it was a workout room or. When Goldfield was at its heyday, there were 25,000 people here. by far the biggest city in Nevada. And about 1 out of every 5 people that lived in Nevada lived in Goldfield. So when something happened here, it was often a big deal. So they had, imagine they had visiting speakers, guest lecturers come in and give talks here, and this may have been the room they set up in, we don't know. Right now it's a vacant room. A lot of discards from the county building. These were all turn of the century antiques. They didn't want them in the county building anymore, they wanted new stuff, so they were gonna throw it away, and we took it instead.
Wow.
Don't throw away stuff like that around here.
Right.
Yeah, this is new sanctuary lots. The issue with the building is that the weight-bearing walls of the north wall and the south wall are 100 feet apart. And the beams that went all the way across the building weren't big enough to support. And when they built the second floor, they built it on top of the first floor. When they built the third floor, they put it on top of the second floor. Whereas normally, or what you should do when you make a second floor is you build it on top of supports that go all the way to the ground. So each floor has its own individual support to the ground. This building wasn't done that way. I don't know if it probably wasn't designed that way. My thought is that maybe the contractor shortchanged the plan a little bit, because the guy who designed this building designed a lot of other buildings and did a good job on it. I don't think he would design it to not have any support. But at any rate, these are now weight-bearing walls. The roof is up, it's gonna stay up. It was sinking before and the building's getting wet. The roof is up, it's gonna stay up. So we're well on the way to getting a building that's more stable. So this is the grilled bathroom. It's the only one in the building. This is the room that the woman I met wouldn't come in because it was too creepy, partly because it's in the basement. You can see this is back in the area where the water tanks were up on the wall. You fill up the tank, pull the cord to flush the toilet. There is some stuff in here from the hotel. The hotel's in the process of ripping out all the history, and that part of the history they ripped out. So that floor is going to stay here until they want it back. Behind you is a sink. There's running water here. Most of the kids who went to school here didn't have running water at home. They didn't have good heat at home, and a lot of them didn't have electricity. So this is a pretty cool place to be because it was heated and running water. They have to go outside to go to the bathroom and wash your hands. There's water right there in the sink. Cold water only. There was no hot water in the building. Yeah, this is a pretty active room. So if you you wanted a story, my coming out in the high school was in here. About, I don't know, several years ago, there was a guy posting pictures of himself in here on Facebook in the middle of the night. So Jerry said, "I need to go figure out what's going on," and I came over here with my tools, gonna find where he broke in and fix it. And got to the front door, it's like, I can't go in there by myself. It's just too creepy. So I came back the next morning and found that he had come in the window in the little bathroom here. So I went about putting some hardware up with screws from the inside instead of from the outside. So you can't take it apart from the outside, you have to break it. My dog Tucker is not here with me right now. I call him a ghost dog. Normally he's within 5 feet of me all the time. I was in here working on the window and he up and left, which is unusual, and laid down by the door. And I finished my project, put everything away. And that night there was a group came in and they were set up in this room with a music box. I didn't know what a music box was at that point, so someone explained to me that sitting here in the music box is playing and the lights flashing, and it didn't make sense to me. And it said, but it's detecting something. So I'm sitting here for about 10 minutes and nothing ever happens except that it's playing and the lights flashing. So I said, whatever's making the music box go, are you what made my dog leave this afternoon? And the music box shut off, stopped making noise. So, I'm into coincidences, and so I said, okay, whoever you are, I'll go get Tucker if you play one note on a music box. I'd never seen one before. I didn't know whether you could do that or not. So it plays one note and the light flickers. So there's about 10 people in the room, and now there's some big eyes going on. Okay, I'll go get Tucker if he's laying out by the door. I'll go get him if you play 2 notes. Sure enough, it played 2 notes and went quiet. So nothing to do with me, nothing to do with this room, nothing to do with the building. He can't wait till someone opens the door. He's going to run out. So I came back in and sat down and said, I don't know who or what is going on, but I can't get my dog to come in here, which is very unusual. And the music box played about 3 seconds and shut off. Didn't make a noise the rest of the night. So I don't know what happened, but that was the first time I had a really difficult time explaining what went on. Had a lot of music boxes in here since then. Sometimes they're noisy, sometimes they're not, but this is a pretty active room.
Makes sense.
Thanks.
Thanks, Steve.
So this is the coal room, obviously. The furnace was coal fed. The coal would be delivered through that window into this bin, and someone would shovel it into the furnace. It's been said there was a 6th grader in here trying to get away from his teacher when it delivered a load of coal, and he didn't survive. So I don't have any newspapers that report that, but my newspapers only go back to 1915, so I don't know when that would have happened, and I haven't read all the papers we have. So anyway, that's the story. This coal is interesting because when you look at the walls, they were pouring coal in here and taking coal out of here for 30 years. The walls are not black. They're still, even the mortar is still white. So the issue is why, and the answer is that because of the coal they use, this is anthracite coal, which is very hard. It doesn't write. It doesn't mark. And it's very pure. Burns hot, burns long, so you could stoke the fire in the evening or burn all night. But it doesn't grow in Nevada, it doesn't grow in Utah, a little bit in Wyoming. This coal may well have come from Pennsylvania or West Virginia. A long ways away. But it's very expensive. Nobody burns it anymore. They use it to make steel out of iron because it's so pure.
Wow.
Most other outfits that burn coal burn lignite or bituminous coal, which is much dirtier, it's much cheaper, and the walls would literally be painted black if they used that. So it's the only grade of coal that's ever been here. Very interesting.
Are you okay? You want to look up there?
Yeah, is that where the coal came out of?
I don't
Or is
know.
that just a
I think
window?
that's just a vent.
Oh, okay.
Or
Oh.
you could climb up there and peek in.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like there was, I don't know what the holes in the rock up here are for. Right now they hold up a light, but I don't think that was originally their purpose. It looks like they were chipped out after the wall was done. This is the boys' bathroom, there's only one. And to me, it's a very active room. I don't like the activity in here. It's a little bit antagonistic to me. The rest of this is the only room in the building that I think has energy that I don't find very interesting or attractive. We had a young lady in here last summer who had a lot of equipment with her. She's in a small group, and she wanted it after the tour. She wanted to come in and set up her equipment here and wanted us to leave her alone. I tried to talk her out of it because I don't like this room, but she wouldn't have it. So she came in and she put up her blanket to sit on and got all her equipment out and came back an hour later. I didn't go very far. I don't like this room. I generally don't hang around, but I was concerned. And about 20 minutes later, she came out. She didn't say anything. She didn't want to come back in and get her equipment. Equipment sat here, turned on until the sun came up the next morning. Then she would come in and get everything out. So I don't know what happened, but to me, the energy in this room is either none or it's negative, and I don't like that. I feel like there's some kid in here waiting to scare the snot out of me, and I'm in here a lot by myself, and I don't want something like that.
So this was the little boys' room.
What's that?
That you said this was the boys' room.
Yeah.
The boys' bathroom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the girls' bathroom, the energy in there is fine.
Okay.
This bathroom, the energy is not good to me. So I would never even think of coming in here if you guys weren't here at night. I wouldn't.
Boys were pranksters.
Yeah. So I would recommend that you don't come in here by yourself. Anyway, you guys can do what you want. Yeah, you have the whole building
Yeah.
and all that, but
Gotcha.
I
This is
wouldn't
that
do
room.
it.
Okay.
bottom of that stairway is that first classroom with the furniture in it, among other things. So now who knows what's going on down there. So this would be the middle floor. Behind you is the door at the top of the steps. So this would be where most of the kids would come in and go to their various classrooms. So this would be, with 400 students here, this would be a very noisy place. All the way from 4 to 12th grade, those kids would be mingling in this area. You can see it's a beautiful room. There's wood everywhere. There's laughing and plaster, so you can look through the laughing strips if there's a kid in the wall.
Yeah. That's how that movie was.
So in teacher's lounge, there's a bathroom there. There's another sink on the wall there. And if you look at the scale of things, the walls are narrower, the doors are shorter. The average female when this building opened was about 5'1".
Oh,
The average guy was about 5'6". In order to be a teacher here, you had to be female, you had to be single, I think you had to play piano, and you had to have perfect handwriting. There is one of the rooms that still has original 1948 writing on, and it looks like it came out of a printer. It's absolutely perfect.
wow.
Beautiful writing. But this is the teacher's lounge. No students would come in here. The teachers will come in and commiserate and use the bathroom without going down to the student's toilet.
Wow. So is the
Next
teacher-
door here is the library.
Yeah, for his lounge. Yeah. Wow, what's
Not a lot of shelves in here for a school this size, but this would be where the reference books were. The textbooks would be in the individual classrooms. So this would be like encyclopedias and research works, that sort of thing. they would be here. Nice quiet room. I've never had anything happen to me other than the windows don't stay open. But I don't think that's anything paranormal. I think that's because
I think last time I was here they were shaking.
because there's no counterbalancing.
Yeah.
on the
They were
windows.
shaking last time.
Was it?
They were shaking like from the outside.
Oh. Well, I have had other people have experiences in
Yeah,
here.
and it wasn't windy or anything.
Yeah. To me, libraries are pretty boring. So
Yeah.
Is there a specific time? But I kind of know the answer to this. For me, it seems like it happens all the time. But here, is there a specific time that seems to be more active, or is just
I don't know if I could tell you that. For me, when I'm here working by myself, I wear earplugs because I routinely hear footsteps. And so when sometimes Jerry will, probably 3 or 4 times a year, she'll come over and find me because I don't answer my phone. And I ask her, when you first come in the door, say something so that I know it's not just footsteps. Because I can't tell.
wow?
There was a group upstairs it was about a month ago. We're on a tour. It was in the evening. The sun was getting pretty low. It wasn't quite dark yet, but it was dusky. And you couldn't see very well without a light. So we're talking at the top of the steps, and we heard some walking, some footsteps, and looking around, nothing going on. So we kept talking, and then heard some more footsteps, and then Jerry was halfway up the stairs and said, "How long have you been here?" When I walked in 10 seconds ago. Well, we all heard someone walk around in the basement 2 minutes ago. Was that you? I said, "No, I just walked in from my car and came up." But the group, there were 5, 6 people in the group. We couldn't tell them apart. It sounded like she'd been walking around downstairs for 5 minutes. And so I wear earplugs, so I don't have to worry about it. I don't want some sort of a vision. I don't want an apparition. I don't want something tapping me on the shoulder. I don't mind if boards fall down. I don't care. I'll pick them up and don't break a window. But I don't want to see anything, and I don't want anything to touch me. So I wear earplugs, and because I'm in here by myself a lot, probably 20 hours a month. I mean, here 30 hours a month, depends on what's going on. Some are more. I don't want something bad to happen because I have a lot of work in there I have to do. And it's a great office, as long as you're not afraid. I'm about 5'11", but in my high school, I went to high school in the 70s, and there were probably only 3 guys in my high school that wouldn't be able to walk under here. But now, something like 15% of guys are 6'2" or higher.
Right, they'd be scraping the head almost.
Yeah, so when I go to a high school event, I'm a short guy.
This is original?
Yes. Wow. Well, original from 48, which is 25 years ago.
God, look at that cursive.
75 years
They're
ago.
so good at the cursive.
So look and see how perfect this writing is, and how level it is,
Yep.
all the way across the board.
Kids couldn't do that these days.
It's very
No
impressive.
way.
Perfect running right.
And it's set down a little bit. This is 1948. When the building opened, women were yet 3 inches shorter, so they would be writing here. The chalkboard originally was framed this high, but later this is painted wood. Behind you is a slate chalkboard. That's slate stone. When they set that, they set it lower than the original painted chalkboard. You don't find slate chalkboard much anymore. They're expensive and they're brittle and all that. We don't have very much tagging here, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
We don't want tagging. This would be the science room, chemistry lab table, chemistry cabinet here. This room for me is, people come in and make writing with these plastic letters. I've never seen anything happen with that, but I'm not into putting out toys for ghosts. I don't. If there's a ball on the ground, I leave it alone. If there's jacks and balls, and I don't mess with that, because this would have been where the kids in this room would have been 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They're not playing with balls and jacks, and they're not playing with plastic letters. And that's the source of a lot of our issues, because it's heavy, it's tall, and it's suspended by 4 2x14s nailed together. You see there's some new lumber in there, there's some engineered wood in that beam now.
I said lots changed actually.
But there wasn't before, and that support there goes all the way to the ground, which is a good thing. So this skylight got lifted up about 1.5 feet. This stairway that we're sitting on got lifted up about 6 inches as part of the repair. So we're not really trying to rescue or redo the building. It's not a resto mod. We're just trying to keep it from falling down. We wanted to keep it in this kind of a condition forever. I know what they're doing. They're destroying the place.
But what for? They're not going to do anything, make anything out of it. They're not going to put people in there.
People.
What are these?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is this just like, what is this?
Yeah, that wall's is been stabilized. It's all new stone and new mortar, but the building is owned by the Historical Society. The president is a retired engineer. He's never really taken them out there. He says he would lose sleep for a month if we took them out.
So this was just like holding them together?
Yeah, they were holding up the wall. They're not now. That was before this was a weight-bearing wall. The south wall was going south, the north wall was going north, and that was to keep the building from expanding so the roof wouldn't fall in. Mm-hmm. But it's not doing that anymore, so they're not. You can see they're slacks. They're not holding anything up anymore.
Wow.
There's we have a rock hounding group that came through Goldfield. One of the guys in the group is a 20-year-old single guy. He's immortal. He's invincible. All those indestructible things. And he brought him up here. It was twilight. It was probably the sun was down, and it wasn't flashlight. You could walk around a little bit.
Yeah.
So we got to the top of the stairways. We just came up, and I said, "Hey Seth, I give you $100 if you can spend the night here by yourself." So he made fun of me a little bit, and we went down to his car, got his camp stove and a sleeping bag and his pad and all that. And on a rock canyon trip, he was sleeping in his Suburban. He was living out. All the rest of us had RVs, but he's in his Suburban. So his Suburban's out there in the front, and he brought in all his stuff, got him laid out. I came back an hour later. He's sleeping in his car. I didn't want to give him a hard time. Didn't want to wake him up. But in the morning, I came by. It was about 6:30. He was getting light, and said, "He said, what happened?" He said he was laying there making his dinner on his stove, and he heard a party going on. So he came into this room, which is the auditorium, and you can see the bar out that window. It's a block away. So we looked over at the bar like you can tonight, and it was dark. There was nobody there. There was no party. There's no stereo. There's nothing. And so he's a little bit freaked, and he goes back to lay down and making his dinner. And now the party is up in the attic. And now the people up there are looking through the slats at him and saying, "Look, I can see him from over here. Look, he's afraid to get his dinner out. Look, he's not going to sleep here anymore. Let's see if we can scare him a little bit more." So he's had enough of that. So he gets up and he goes downstairs. He's going to leave. But the middle floor, the main door is locked from the outside. So he can't go that way. He's got to go all the way down through the basement to get out. He didn't have his food, didn't have a sleeping bag, doesn't have anything except his car keys. So he just went back to his Suburban and lay down, and that's where I found him. So,
Wow.
but I don't blame him. I feel bad that he had to go all the way down to the basement by himself after he's already jaded. That's not a good thing, but I shouldn't have made an offer.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have taunted him. I knew better.
Wow.
What kind of classroom was this? Just a regular classroom or?
This was the auditorium. This would be where they would have big meetings. This is the same as about 3 classrooms. Has a 15-foot ceiling. It's way up there. Now this would be a stage like for a Christmas program or a speaker or something. And when you look up in the attic, you can see there's not very much wood up there. These days, that would be full of engineered wood and trusses and braces and all that. So that's why we had to re-engineer the entire attic, and that's why it's taken us a long time. This is the principal's office. There's his own closet there, and it's been set. Yeah, that's a stairway to the attic, which is creepy. It's been said that the principal had a kid he had locked in that closet. It was disciplining, and the father, who was a minor, heard about it and came here and had a confrontation with the principal. The dad wound up dying from that, which is sort of an oddity to me. If there's an altercation between a Hard Rock minor and a Death Rock principal, my money's on the minor. But anyway, the minor wound up dying, and so that's the story. Again, I don't have any documentation of that. But what I find is creepy is that when you look at the door in the principal's office, you find 4 hinges. All of the other doors in the entire building only have 2. So why does he need 4 hinges on his door? Those are beefy hinges.
Sure.
I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, must have been a heavy door
Like soundproof?
Wow.
in the building.
Wow.
All the other classrooms, all the doors leading to the outside, they all just have 2 hinges. And this one has 4 beefy hinges on it. We don't know what the door looked like.
And Steve, did you ever find out the name of the principal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's something I've been trying to find
Stuff
out.
like that's hard to look up because when a lot of times when things like that happen, it would get buried.
Okay.
And if it doesn't come out in a newspaper that someone has, someone looks for, it's difficult. In 1906, 1908, 1909, there were probably 3 or 4 different newspapers in town.
Okay.
And there's a lot of noise going on. It's the biggest city by a long ways. So you'd have to do a lot of looking to find out any information on that. The 3 or 4 newspapers coming out every day, and It's a lot of noise. A lot of noise for a little bit of a signal. And it might not ever have made it into the paper. So really that would be the only way we'd find it is if it's in somebody's newspaper or somebody's diary.
Do we possibly know what possible period that might have taken place? Like if that was like 1910 with the child and the father? No. Okay.
No, we don't have much detail. We don't even know what year it would be.
Yeah.
So if you start looking, you have a lot of sorting out to do before you could say, okay, let's start with the busy years. Let's start with 1909 because there's the most students here, or let's start with 1915 because there's not very many students and there might be better records, and go backwards from that. I don't know how you'd look, but it would be a big project. And when you find out, then what?
Sure.
Say, okay, his name was Joseph whatever, and the kid's name was Butch, and like, okay, so what does that change?
Right. Sure.
So it gives you a little bit of a little bit of solidification to the story, but like most things in here, you can believe it or not.
Yeah. Sure.
One other story about that, we were on the Travel Nevada comes here about every year, 2 years to take pictures and write up the building. There were 7 representatives from the state and myself and Jerry were downstairs in the basement. We're getting ready to wrap up and go home, and sure to knock on the door that we came in, the basement door. So we were thinking we're the only ones here and we don't want anybody in the building that's not authorized. So she ran over to the door, opened the door, there's nobody there. So she goes up in the courtyard, there's nobody there either. So she came back in and we're all discussing this, and it's like, there's no question we all heard a knock on the door because all 9 of us turned towards the door. We heard a knock, so who's at the door? And everybody turned. It's not like, 3 people heard it and 4 people said, well, it's a wind upstairs, or I heard a bird or something like that. It's 9 people heard a knock on the door.
Yeah.
And that's really typical for what I hear when I'm here by myself. That's why I wear earplugs. So I don't have to care if someone's knocking on the door.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Because I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Someone out in the front that I needed to talk to. So I took my hat off and I put it down on that column over there. And there were both balls were underneath my hat. So I just took off my hat, put it over the blue and the yellow ball, and then went down and talked to him, came back up in 10 minutes and picked up my hat. One ball's under my hat, the other ball's here. And it was kind of freaky. It's like, I have no doubt whatsoever. When I took off my hat, I set it down. There were 2 balls where I put my hat. The sad thing is, right behind you, there's a camera, a security camera up there. But they only run in the nighttime. And so it's just too bad that I haven't set to only run at night, because I would love to see what happened. Would my camera just see the ball move? Would it see something moving the ball? Does the ball just disappear over there and it reappears here? I would love to see how that happens, and I missed a chance. You have a camera that would be looking right at it, but it's not on because it happened in the daytime. And that bugs me.
Do you have it on the daytime now?
Yeah, why? They're just set to just run at night.
Just at night.
So
Yeah,
if it was set to run in the daytime, it would pick up motion. So if something moved that ball from there to here, it would have picked it up.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to take a video of that because it's moving. On the other hand, if the ball just disappears here and reappears here, I would not see that on the camera because there's no motion. But I don't have any of that because it was in the daytime.
Would you guys ever consider hypothetically to set up cameras in here?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Would you guys ever consider setting up cameras in here to see if what you might capture while you guys are not here late at night, just to set up cameras in here as almost like an experiment for yourselves to see if whatever you might capture. No, I get it.
He
I get
doesn't
it.
wanna know.
I get it. I get it.
I know-
Enough said, Steve.
I took one of my cameras down. It was about a year ago. I took one of the cameras down and I took the disc out and I put it in my computer. I said there are 450 pictures on here.
Oh
my.
And I'm thinking, I don't want to know
Oh.
what generates 450 pictures in a week. I just don't want to
In
know.
a week.
Yeah.
So I just formatted the disk, and it's like, I'll never know, and I don't want to know.
Oh wow.
So
I
a
get
lot of times, if there's a cat or if there's
Birds.
somebody working in here in the daytime, I usually don't get it. Sometimes John, who's the engineer, he doesn't have a creepy sense. He doesn't want coming in here anytime, day or night, and it absolutely blows me away that I'll be in here on a night tour and John comes in not knowing there's anybody here. It's like, John, how can you do that?
Yeah.
How can he be so insensitive to the energy in here? But he is. He's completely insensitive.
Yeah.
So he can come in at night. And I can't. But it would be a lot. And so I get guys like that. I get John on my cameras. I get a cat. I've not had people that I can't identify that I know of.
Got it.
But sometimes I get those anomalies where there's 100, 200, 300, 400 photos, and I just erase it. Because I know there's not a party here. If there was a party here, I have the key, and I would know the sheriff's office is right across the street. They know you're here. They know I'm here. I announce it with my motorhome. You can't miss that. It's like, so they know there are people here. But if there's a party here and there's no motorhome and Jerry's car's not here, my car's not here, they're going to come over and see what's going on. In videos, he was backing up. And I was behind him. I was watching him take videos, and I'm thinking, this is a really boring video. You're taking it backing out down the hall. As we're getting ready to leave, he says, "Hey, Steve, look at my video." So it's the exact same video that I watched him take. And there's the shadow that's following us as we're walking back in the hallway. It's getting closer and closer to the camera, and it's like there's no direct sunlight. There's no shadows in there. It's not like there's something playing on the lens, but I can see it. And I know for sure it wasn't there, it wasn't visible when he took the video because I was standing behind him watching it.
Oh wow.
So,
Yeah,
but, I don't want stuff like that to happen.
I get it.
Because 99% of the time I'm in here by myself.
I get it.
And it's, there's a limit to how much creepy you can take before you get creeped out.
Yeah.
So this to me, when there's a group in here and they don't want me following them around, but I feel like whatever reason I need to be here, I'll bring a bucket or a chair or something and I'll sit here at the top of this stairway. I had a great time when I was in high school, and we had a stairway like this, and one of my favorite things as a senior is to stand there and watch the girls walk up and down the steps. Not from below, but from above. Watch everything come up and down the stairs and give the girls a hard time. And so when I sit here now, I can feel that same energy of 200, 300 students coming up and down these steps. It's a lot of energy, and for me, it's very good energy.
Yeah.
And I want to keep it a happy thing.
Good.
And so far, it's worked out. Been here 6 years, and so far, nothing but good. A lot of work, but it's good. No one tapped me on the shoulder. No one's moved my gear around. And
Now, Steve, I just want to ask you a quick question. Are you hearing?
what?
Are you hearing the tapping that's going on right now?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You feel anything?
He just
I do.
doesn't.
Yeah.
I always did-
I felt something hit this, my tripod, and then I felt something grab my hand, like brush my hand.
I don't feel things like that. I just feel energy. But for me, this area here, even when it's raining and I got a lot of work to do, or I'm cold, or I'm too hot, this area to me is a happy area. So I don't feel things like that. I hear people talking. I hear a lot of walking up in the attic. A lot of that, even on a night when there's no wind whatsoever out there. Right now, you could drop a feather and it would go straight down. But I hear the roof flopping or something like that, and I know there's no wind. Could be pigeons. I don't know.
Yeah, the whole place I've been in, it wasn't until I got to this spot.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. It's just like you said, like energy, like full
Yeah.
of energy, and it was like playful.
That's kind of what I get. It's just energy, and it's not bad.
No.
And so, one of our rules about no drugs, no Ouija boards, no card reading, all that, because if there's a way to get bad energy in the building, I think that's how you do it.
Are there demons here?
I don't know what a demon is.
Do
I
you
don't
think
know.
there's anything malevolent here? A dark entity?
Living here?
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a guy. I was vacuuming downstairs It was a couple weeks ago, and I felt someone behind me blowing whiskey breath on the back of my neck.
Whiskey breath.
And I thought that's kind of weird because there's not any wind, there's no one else in here, and the whiskey breath is a very distinctive smell. I wasn't thinking about whiskey, I wasn't thinking about any of that. So I go on back and down the stairs, and it happens 4 more times. I feel someone takes a big shot of whiskey, breathes on the back of my head. So after 4 times, it's like, I'm done with this. I'm done with what's going on. I put away my stuff and I left. I didn't put it away, I just put it down and left. But there was a group there that night, and I asked them if they make contact with someone, find out if there was a custodian who drank a lot at work, or if there was a principal that was a drinker. And I'm thinking it could be that principal that got in trouble in there was a drinker. It might be, I don't know. Maybe that's why I had 4 hinges on his door. So they made contact, but they couldn't give me any kind of a confirmation about whiskey or an alcoholic maintenance guy. But that was my first encounter with that. So I don't know. That's not a repeating story for me. But it's very, it was unnerving. It's as unnerving as I ever want to get here because it creeped me out. It made me leave. I've never had to leave before.
So, in any history of anyone been scratched in here? Anyone being pushed?
Well, I get a lot of stories. People get. We're down in that classroom, and one of the veteran investigators stood up and left the building. He didn't say anything, and he came back in about 20 minutes later, and he saw there's a picture on the desk, a picture of 3 ladies, and he said that lady right there came sat on my lap. And he hadn't seen the picture before, but as he was coming in, he looked at the picture and said, "Wow, that's the lady who sat on my lap a few minutes ago." I've never had anything like that happen.
Oh, okay.
So, but I don't want it to. I don't think. I think if there is a spirit here that's not part of me, I think the whatever exists here is happy that I'm here, and so they don't want me to leave. There was a group here. It was about a month ago that I'd never met. Jerry knew them. I opened the gate and they came in. But the next morning, Jerry asked them if they found anything, and they said, "Well, we were down in the bathroom, and somebody kept asking us, 'Where's Steve-O?' And they never met me, and they didn't know there was someone in the area named Steve." Which was kind of a curiosity. It's like they never met me. They didn't know there was a Steve. But they said in both bathrooms, someone was asking about me. "Where's Steve-O? Where's Steve-O?"
Wow.
So, and Steve-O was an old name. People don't call me Steve-O anymore. They used to 50 years ago. Say, "Hey, Steve-O." And now it's more like Steve Arini or, Steve McQueen or something like that. But, when I was 10, they called me Steve-O.
Thank you guys so much for coming back. Don't worry, episode 2 of Goldfield High School will be dropping later this week. We're not going to be waiting for a month. He's going to start dropping daily, if not every 2 days until we finish the Goldfield High School. And then now every episode is going to start be dropping. There's an episode of Mexico with Chichen Itza. There's an episode of Tulum in Mexico, of these Mayan ruins. There's also a small little paranormal investigation that was done inside the hotel. in Mexico in the Mayan Riviera. All these videos are going to start dropping very shortly, so thank you so much for tuning in and watching this episode. And watch out, because Goldfield High School episode 2 is dropping very shortly. And also, please like and subscribe. It does help the algorithm, gets us into the whole YouTube pages, so people start viewing our videos more. So please like, subscribe, comment. I do read each and every comment, and I do comment back. So please, if you guys, that's the only support you can do, I really do appreciate it. So please do that. See you guys in a few. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Laters.